Welcome back to Check the Pulse. Today, as usual, I'm grateful and honored to have Miss Sarah Lauren on the podcast. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for being here.
It's basically like home. Like
I know.
I'm comfortable. It's home. Yeah.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
Exactly.
For those that don't know Sarah, I am going to pass the mic to her in 2 seconds and get her to explain, first of all, why she said this is home for her, and second of all, who she is, where she's at, and just kind of her journey, her story, and we'll dive into that. But guys, like, subscribe, share the love for me and for her. She has a podcast called Tall Blonde. It means a lot to us. I usually do this at the end of the episode, but I feel like obviously not everyone gets there. So the support means a lot. Even if you subscribe, like watch what's being put out. If you're subscribing and you're not, that also contradicts. So please, please, please share with people that you think will resonate with the show, the episode. You know, the guests I have on, all my guests have been super friendly, down to earth. You can message them, DM them, whatever questions you have. I'd really appreciate it. Sarah, to you.
Well, honestly, like I resonate with everything you just said because it is tough to start a podcast, but we'll get into that whole thing. And we were just talking about how much effort it is. So respect the throwing it in the beginning because you're right. Some people don't make it to the end.
Right?
But on top of that, I am Sarah Lauren. I am a content creator, podcast host. I am a certified life coach, but I don't really use it. And I'm also that tall blonde. So majority right now is balancing it between podcast and content creation. So I, like my day-to-day would be creating content every single day and partnering with brands, going to events, hosting events, and also weekly podcast every Thursday. So it's exciting, but it's a lot of work, and I'm trying to be better with my time management.
For sure.
It's catching up to me.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, obviously I feel like content creation kind of became more of this job or like thing that you could do as time has progressed with social media.
Right.
Obviously, when you're younger, none of us are thinking, oh yeah, we're going to be a content creator in 10 years. So how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, interesting story because I always was like the person to post a little more on social media, you know, like pictures every day or selfies or stories or whatever it was. If it was like BBM, I would have my stories up and, you know, change my profile pic or Facebook. But I guess I just kind of adapted and loved social media in that sense. Yeah. And never really thought it would be a full-time career, but loved posting.
Right.
Went to my undergrad, went to my master's. That's when I moved to New York from Toronto and was studying fashion management. So basically like strategy, and a lot of strategy was advertisements and, you know, getting the brand more larger audience. Right. And that shifted from when I started undergrad from print, then to more so, you know, online ads, whether it was YouTube, Facebook, anything. And then we moved along into when I was in New York studying fashion, it was then social media ads. Right. So then I kind of understood more of the way, and at that point, honestly, that's only a couple years ago. That was like 3 or 4 years ago now that I was doing that. And it was when, you know, Kim Kardashian was the biggest influencer or whatever, and those kind of things. It was those big names. But then there was a rise of the bloggers and stuff, and I kind of saw it as I was studying. So I was basically studying how this was evolving. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. And I was very lonely in New York because I moved there alone. Right. So it's like, let me just try to do some TikToks on the side because it's working for all these people. And whatever I decide to do after this course, I can have the audience already built, you know? So I was like, okay, this is great. Kind of started talking about my life, dating, things that were happening in New York. Got cheated on, talked about that. That blew up. And then I just started doing it every single day because I saw things come from it. Right. Like I got posted on New York Times and New York Post and Daily Mail and things like that. That was like just talking about my content and how it blew up because I would just say how I felt, I would just be like, okay, do this, this, and this. And that was just my opinion, but people would disagree or they agree and whatever it was. So started getting people into my email asking to represent me, asking to pay for me to partner with these things. And it was too much at the time because I was doing a 9 to 5. But then I kind of started to want to do that more than the 9 to 5 and move back to Canada. And I've just been doing it full time for not even a year now. I guess it's like 9 months. Yeah. And it takes a while to get to a point where you can even support yourself on the earnings that you're making through social media because the number value of how many followers you have doesn't really mean anything. Right. It's what's the interaction rate. Like who is actually listening and interacting with your content and pressing the link and doing that and that. So it's a full-time job, truly, but it takes a while to actually monetize yourself.
For sure. Well, even just in that story you told, like that's years, like a few years getting to where you are. You didn't just wake up and be this creator.
Absolutely.
But I think a big thing that allowed you to blow up is one that's super neat, that you were kind of learning about that upcoming in a really good school, and then had the capacity to be like, I could do this too. Yeah. But you were just being yourself. And
absolutely.
Like, that, I think, pushes you, because you're not saying something that you think is controversial and may explode. You actually believe it. So if it's like you don't agree with something, you're going to say it, and people will resonate with that more, because it's like, I either fucking hate what you're saying or I love it. And like, I'll show you the love or show you the hate, but either way. And I tell like people all the time, I'm like, let people hate. It helps your algorithm. And that interaction.
There are some of the like, some of my haters will not miss a single story, anything. Like, they will be on it, and I'm like, at this point, we can just be friends. Like, let's just start posting on each other. Should I follow you back now? Because you followed me for at least 5 years, and at this point, I feel like we're friends. Like, let's just give it to each other. And sometimes I'll go on live on TikTok, and they'll be right up in there, and we're actually talking to each other. And I'm like, how did that make you feel saying that to me? Like, do you want to talk about it? And at that point, I'm like, we're literally having chats with my haters, but I kind of love it.
No, for sure. Well, you play with it, right? Like,
thick skin, you gotta have.
You have to, and that's what I think is another big thing. Or I'm assuming, like, I'm not a content creator at your scale, but you're gonna get the hate, and how you deal with that will either help you excel or kind of take 3 steps back. Did you go through a phase where when you started getting hate, you were kind of like, like maybe I shouldn't post that?
Absolutely. I mean, you even saying like at your scale, like I don't see myself as anything like big. Like, yes, I have 900,000 followers on TikTok, 150 something on Instagram. Yeah, but to me, I'm like posting just for like the 3 people that comment every single time. I still don't get it, and I think I'm so lucky to be in that mindset, because if I actually thought about it in depth and like thought about, okay, is this good enough to post to 900,000 people to see? I'd go crazy. So I think I'm very lucky in a sense to always remind myself of like, to not think of that and just post it for the authentic version of people and what I wanted to see when I was younger. Like yesterday I posted with no makeup on, I had pimple patches on, my hair was in a bun after a workout, sweaty as can be. And I was like, honestly, like, that's me. It doesn't have to be full glam every time. And that's kind of what I love about it. But of course, the more followers you have, the more haters you're gonna have. That's just life. And the more open and honest you are with your life, it allows people to judge you on more things. So I talk about my dating life. I talk about my past. I talk about friend breakups. I talk about sometimes even family. I try not to keep too much in, because that's like where I draw the line. And you have to have your boundaries. But I'll tell anything and everything about myself. Like, quite literally, the embarrassing stories, the sad stories, the times I've been rejected, the times I regret doing things, the times I took exes back that, even though I preach, like, don't do it. And that's just the mistakes that you make, you know, growing up. But it leaves a lot of room for hate. For sure. And I don't look at my comments as much as I used to, because there's just some that would trigger you, rather like your insecurities. And my insecurities was weight for the most part growing up, and then acne with like adult acne and things, and then posting more and more every day and having to share that, and having like management and people tell me, no, like, you should be posting this because that's relatable, made me more comfortable and confident in myself. Sure. That now I'm like, okay, yeah, I could have gained weight like you commented on that picture in that 2 weeks, or I could have, or I am breaking out in that video that you're calling me out to have horrible skin. But that's life. Yeah. Quite literally, nobody's perfect. And I've gotten myself to a point where I love who I am. Yes, I have things I want to work on and be skinnier and more toned and be a little bit less aggressive and less swear words, like things like that. But I love who I am to my core. I know I'm a good person. So if I just remember that, then I know that whatever I do, I have my core values there, and I'm not mad at myself for it. People can be mad at me for whatever I say or disagree. By all means, disagree. But I'm very happy and content with who I am. So those comments don't bug me as much, but they're never not going to bug me at all, if that makes sense.
Well, you're still human.
Yes.
You're still like, you still have a heart at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
the best thing you can do is, like you said, believe in yourself enough and have your core values intact,
Yep.
which is something you have to build too, right? And like,
For sure.
good on you for like loving yourself that much where you're like, okay, I hear what you're saying. But at the end of the day, I say people that are hating, first of all, don't have the balls to own themselves the way you're owning yourself online.
User 4992627. I'm like, who even are you? Like, who,
Literally,
who are you?
The best part is you click their profile, it's like they don't exist, or it's like 10,000 following, 1 follower, no posts.
Yeah. And they're following you.
Yeah.
I'm like, so why are you following me?
Yeah.
If you literally are calling me, telling me I have daddy issues, worse, that I should pay more, it should be more expensive to pay for podcasting equipment, but you're following every single page I have. Like, I don't understand where you're coming from. Like, thank you.
Make it
I
make
don't
sense.
know. Yeah. And like, maybe it just gets you off to like talk shit about girls
people
online, and that's
usually-
fine.
But people that hate that badly though and are actually that savage typically hate their own life and have
Yes.
their own problems, so they project it. So they see someone that is almost in a position or in a place where they want to be or looks the way they want to be. They're not, and it's like, okay, well then screw you. Like, why you get to be online?
What's
you
the
know?
saying? It's like hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, 100%.
Is that, yeah.
Or
And
misery
it's-
loves company. Same
Yes.
thing.
And jealous people say stupid things. Like, those are sayings for a reason. And I think there's like, life teaches you so many lessons. And if you, even if it's from a mistake that you've made and you were in the wrong, if you take that mistake and turn it into a life lesson and you grow from it, I think that that's the best people out there, even if you were someone that cheated or that, you know, physically punched someone in the face, whatever. If you learn from the mistakes that you make, you are a better person for it. And I think, you know, even, I mean, I wasn't the best. Like, I'm sure I was a bitch to some people or I called people out or whatever, but you just have to learn from it. And I think the people that continuously throw hate to people and that's on you, and you're never going to grow. And I feel sorry for you. But the people that might have done it and learned from it, honestly, I forgive you. I forgive if you said something that hurt me so bad or whatever. I forgive you if you aren't doing it anymore.
For sure. And I think it's also like having people that hate so much in a way where like they're spending all their time, like you said, they're at the top of your following list, they're at the top of your stories. And it's like, okay, yeah, we could be besties at this point if you want. But it's like, you're not putting yourself out there in a way where you're saying, let's say, for example, don't take your ex back. You take your ex back and you're preaching like you've never done it.
Yeah.
You're owning your story. You're owning your mistake. And that's where you become more relatable.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, okay, she's giving me this advice. She's actually gone through it. And now she's owning it. It's not like, it's like an alcoholic. Oh, don't drink alcohol. And then, but I'm going to keep drinking and tell you it's bad for you. It's stupid. Like, right?
And that's like, which is crazy to me, because the more I've been, like, when I was in New York, I didn't really have many friends in, you know, the event space because there was just so many content creators. Yeah. And I was just starting. Yeah. And then when I moved to Toronto, I went to more events because I felt more comfortable and I was growing, and I felt like that would be good for me, you know, to make those friends. The more I see people that I follow online, that we comment on each other's stuff, that are quite literally the exact opposite as to what they're preaching, it pisses me off, because it's like, come on, like the younger females that follow you, or the girls that are the same age, or the moms that are looking down and being like, oh, I wish I could learn that lesson that she's doing, or do what, you know, she's doing, or have this, whatever it is. Yep. And they're not even preaching, or they're not even living that life themselves. They're just preaching it online. It hurts my heart, because I'm like, how could you? Yeah. Like, there's so many of us out here posting with our pimples and all this and that, and saying how we're going to try to eat better because we've been doing this and that. Or, you know, I gave the story of how I quit vaping, and the amount of people that are like doing these ads that are like health and wellness for whatever, and they're like talking about how they would never do this and that, but I see them out at night and they're vaping. I'm like, for fuck's sakes, it's not a crime. Like, let's be honest and authentic. But at the end of the day, you can't make people do anything.
No, 100%.
But it just pisses me off, because there's a lot of people that aren't being authentic with themselves online.
But it's also like, that shows though, like, where your heart is at, because some people don't think that way, right? They're more a money-driven intent, because it's like, okay, I know if I push myself this way, I get this demographic, this audience, this brand might like it. Boom. Okay, now I can make money with this. But it's like, if that's not you, how long can you keep that fad up for? When are you gonna hit a point where it's like, or it's like you grow, let's say you become fucking massive in Toronto, and you say you don't vape. Now you're out on King Street on a Saturday night, and I see you vaping. I'm gonna come up to you and be like, wait, you just posted a
Literally.
reel. Like, you know, at some point you're gonna cross a line.
There was a time that I didn't even like, I have extensions, I have lip filler, I mean, like I do diets here and there, like every person does. But like I talk about that now, but there was a time that I didn't talk about it because you want to be, you know, the best version of yourself and you compare yourself to other people. But I've only grown because I've been more open, authentic, consistent too. But like all of the things that I've shared is so much more relatable. And then it helps me get brand deals or whatever because I'm sharing what I'm doing and people are seeing the, you know, gratefulness of maybe even just sharing what type of extensions I have and where I went and what didn't work for me so that they could save themselves the bad experiences and find the good sooner. And that's exactly what content creation and influencing is, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, very rare for people to give it all up. But we're moving in that direction, I think.
Which I hope. And I think though now with like, you know, obviously reels have popped off the last few years, TikTok, all this video content coming out. It's also harder to be fake on video than photo.
Absolutely.
So it's like now you kind of have to own yourself. And a lot of society is actually pushing, I feel, for more raw content now, which is like obviously less edited, less perfected. So if you want to be successful, I believe you have to hit a point where you are truly just you. And people, I feel like, think others want perfection when that's not always the case. They want relatable and personable. If I feel like 100%. I can relate to you, I'm going to follow you more than if I feel like your life always looks perfect. Because odds are if your life always looks perfect and I follow you, I might start hating my life.
Absolutely.
But if you're here, you know, you went to go get new extensions, you tell us how they fucked it up. I know now if I want extensions, I'm not going to go to that place. And now I respect
what I asked
you.
for when I got my lips done and how much I did when you can see the comparison so that you can give that comparison to your person and say, this is exactly what I want. How much do I need? Like, that's what it's all about. And that's advertisements. That is what you need to, you know, use. And that's influencing at the end of the day. But no, even as you were saying that, like, it is... I'm very grateful that we got to this point because when I was little, like I would wish
for sure
that I had the raw content rather than all the edited, you know, like, oh my gosh, remember when we had to like edit our photos on like our computer, like our literal computer. And like, I look back at some of my pictures and I'm like, where's your nose? Like, where's your nose?
How about when Instagram first came out with the filters and we'd put the grungiest filters? Because you think like, oh, it's making the photo pop. If I looked at that now, I'm like,
no. And like I used to make music videos and I was like, what is this effect that I'm doing here? And why did anyone watch that?
Honestly, I say like that era between like 1996 to maybe like 01, maybe 02 is such a special era because we grew up before the technology, but at the beginning of technology. Like I tell my brother, he's 9 years younger than me, and I'm like, I went through elementary school, no technology.
Oh, he probably doesn't even get it.
No, I was like with BBM, with a BlackBerry that was like a brick. I could throw it against the wall, it wouldn't break. I'm like, then iPhones came out, and he's like, what? I'm like,
the best app was Brick Breaker.
Yeah,
and that's like, it. You didn't have a makeshift, make your own.
No, but
like I don't even know, avatar. Like,
or even like the first iPod, there was no app store. I remember trying to jailbreak my iPod to get games to play bowling, and now it's like, it's insane to see where we've gotten, and like. I think obviously pros and cons. Pros is like it allows for opportunities like this where you can be a content creator, you can be an influencer and like make money. Cons is like now you have access to so much information and technology and like
half of it isn't even real.
Correct. I remember the first time I discovered Photoshop. It was in high school. I took a class and we had to fix a teacher's eyelash. Her mascara kind of clumped her eyelashes. And my teacher comes up to me. He's like, oh, watch this. Crop, mask, whatever. All of a sudden she had perfect eyelashes. I'm like, and in that moment I went, oh my God, everything's fake.
Yeah.
Like that was my like, holy shit.
And like, I think social media was what showed us, you know, how fake, I mean, I don't know now, but in the past, modeling and all those advertisements were because it was, obviously we've come a long way from the ideal body
for sure
type and shape.
Thank God.
But like, I forget what it was. If it was a TikTok or something, but somebody like showed what the Kardashians looked before and after all their surgeries, and I was like, holy
no, it's
shit.
actually cracked.
How did somebody even do this?
Yeah, no, it's cracked. But even if you looked at their like ads and stuff, because they were really like the limelight when it came to like editing then.
Yeah.
People would like But even if you think in
They're
high
ahead
school,
of the game.
100%. But even in like high school, like girls would like curve their waist or curve their ass or like, and then you see them in person and I'm like, what? Or models when they put them on magazines, they have no tattoos. Then they're posting and they have tattoos. And I'm like, but so now,
Crazy.
like you said, the body image thing has changed, which I love because like everyone should feel included.
Yeah.
And like even like you see models with tattoos now or like not as tall. Like the stereotype is kind of dwindling,
And
which
you're
is
not,
important.
yeah, and you're not comparing yourself to the ideal because that's what everyone's editing it to.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be comparing in general, but like you have other people to see online in different shapes and sizes and videos and things not fitting or fitting differently. Even on like shopping now, I was on Revolve and you click it and it goes like from a, size 2 to then a size 12. And I'm like, wow, that's a very great thing to, be able to see what it would look like on a different shape.
Yeah.
But it is that you can see all that so much different. You don't have to compare it to that one ideal. But also I think, especially when I moved back from New York, the content that I was posting had a filter, had this, had that. And then when I started, coming to Toronto, and yes, it also is the comparisons that you have in New York to Toronto is a little different. But then moving to Toronto, I think what New York taught me is you don't need to compare yourself to any other person at all by any means, because there's always going to be someone prettier than you. There's always going to be someone nicer than you, funnier than you, taller than you, skinnier than you, whatever, tanner than you, whatever that may be. But how are you in regards to your goals? Compare yourself to yesterday, a month ago. Are you doing better? Are you doing worse? Like that's the comparison that we should have, which I still think we're not at that point. But I have to remind myself of that every day because I catch myself sometimes like being like, oh, she looks so good and she goes out all the time. Like, how does she not gain any weight? Like, I love going out and I love, eating out and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, like, I wish I could do it like she does. Like Alex Earl, for example.
Right, yeah.
But then you have to remind yourself, no. That's her. And you don't know what she looked like before. Like, you don't know what her body is and how her metabolism is. All you have to compare yourself is yesterday, the day before, the year before, the month before, and that's what we should be doing, and that's what I hope we get to. But we're definitely, like we said before, making progress.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's there. And also, like, when, you compare to Alex Earl or Alex Cooper or whatever, like, all these girls, like, even I watched, like, Cooper's documentary. I'm like, oh, it's so sick. Like, she's here. Or I see her stuff. I'm like, I want a podcast like that, whatever. But then you realize, like, you actually, even when they make a documentary, you still only see, like, a glimpse, right? Like, you don't know what her day-to-day looks like. You don't know what her relationship is behind the scenes. Like, you don't know how she wakes up and what she's thinking. Like, and those are the moments we have to remind ourselves of what you just said, because those are the shifting moments of it's not all perfect. And, even when people are raw, I believe that you're always going to be raw to a certain extent, because you never want to, or some people may, but I believe, like, you should never really fully, like, be completely like heart open online. Like you were saying, like, family's your boundary, right?
Yeah, I was just just thinking that when
like,
you
and
said
that would
it.
be for me. Like, if I started doing what you're doing, like, my family life would be you can't touch that, right? And that's because, honestly, like, you have haters and they're savage as shit. And it's like, you can hate on me and I can take that. If you start hating on people I love, we're gonna have a fucking problem. It's not happening.
Exactly. And I was just thinking that, like, even when we were on the phone the other day, you're like, oh, like, is there anything you don't want to talk about? I was like, my life is an open book. But it is true. Like, there is some stuff that I don't talk about. I'm fine with talking about, like, hookup culture and, like, one night stands or don't fuck on the first date and things like that. But my boundary with that is I feel uncomfortable talking about, like, the intricate things that you do in the bedroom with someone. So I would never be the person to dive into that. I had a sex therapist on my podcast and we talked about, like, questions that people wrote in. I think people wrote like hundreds of questions and I only had time for like a good 50.
For sure, yeah.
But I, bulked them all into categories. But that is a boundary where I don't want to talk in depth about that, because that's for me and the person that it was with,
for sure.
But I can give it to a certain extent, exactly like my life. I can give, I can talk about people, but I won't say my mother said this, my mom did this, my dad did this, my sister said this. Like, I draw the line on that because those are my people. But I'm also just like, and it's getting to a point where I catch myself now too, where I'm like, shit, is this gonna affect, someone gonna ask my parents about this or like whatever? But then you do have to just remember, like, I've devoted my life to.
That's true too. So it's like it's like a teeter-totter.
Yeah.
It's like finding that fine line of like what is and what isn't too much. Because like you said too, like a lot of that ties into respecting others' privacy as well as your own. Even if you're in a relationship, it's like if you guys are having like a deep talk with your partner, you're not gonna come on the podcast and be like, yeah, so tonight, like me and so, like there's a line, right?
Exactly.
People would love to know it.
100%.
But that's not for them to know.
And maybe it's a week after where you finally came to your thoughts, the fight's over, and you think about it, and then you have a conversation with online of being like, oh, like, I hate when this happens or whatever, and you put it in a different way, but you don't go verbatim and share somebody's, you know, what's going on in their head when they didn't give you the authority to.
100%.
Yeah.
So content creation has this like, call it controversial idea towards it. Like someone says they're a content creator, everyone's like, that's not a job. So obviously it's your job. So what's your stance on that? Like how much work actually goes into content creation? Because I think a majority of people are ignorant to the fact that like you have to film, edit, do X, Y, and Z. They just think, oh, she posts every day. And like, it's raw, right? You just take up your phone and it's like, no, you probably script, you probably plan out what you're going to post. I'm not sure, but like,
no, it like, I did not know what I was getting myself into with this, but I love it. I'm so grateful for it because I love what I'm doing and it's making me a better person, confidence-wise, self-love-wise, being more comfortable with myself. And I feel like even if one person resonates, makes me feel better. But there's a whole fucking week of like, every single day I'm busy and I don't get a day off. Even when it's Christmas, that's the best time for content. Everyone's on their phone. Like things like that is when I'm like, oh, I wish I could take a day off, but like I don't want to. I don't want to let people down. So I kind of map it out and I'm trying to be better at my schedule, but I've mapped it out in a sense of Sundays I plan my content for the week. Might not be exactly what the week breakdown is, but I map it out just so I have a good understanding of what I'm getting into. There's always events every single week. There's events that you probably should go to because you want to meet the PR team, you like the brand, you want to get into that, show your support. There's also emails coming in every day for brand deal opportunities for your management, or if you are pitching, people are responding back to that. If you're pitching yourself and you're whatever to, let's say Tim Hortons, you want to work with them, you have to give them idea and a story. Yeah. And then there's also, I have on Mondays a weekly call with my manager where I tell her who I want to work with. I send her the videos that I've used the products in because brands don't want to work with you if you've never even heard of their product. You have to be using it and you have to show that you're using it. So you have to map out on the Sunday what you're going to be using that week and showcasing because you need to be using the brands that you want to work with in the future. And you have to make sure that you do that. And still, you can do that if you look good and do a trending sound, but you have to make sure that you're doing it in a way that you're brand friendly too.
Right.
And then you also have to be up to date on what's trending, what's working. You also have to post every single day on Instagram, TikTok. I'm doing Snapchat now. Yeah. And then that's my personal. And then I have a whole nother thing where I have my podcast. So I have to find the guests, plan the podcast. That's between my schedules. I also work out, like trying to do it 5 times a week. So I try to figure that out. And then
have a social life.
Have a social life, yep. Not dating anyone because they wouldn't even fit in my damn schedule. Oh my God. But find the guests, plan with the guest, what works for the both of you, pre-plan. The episode comes out every Thursday, so you have to edit it days before. You have to find what reels you want to post. What's the cover going to be? What's the title going to be? Is there anything that they don't want in there that you have to rewatch it 3 times to make sure that nothing that they wanted cut out is still in the thing? Then you have to post it. Then you have to post the reels every day on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Post the final thing on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever the fuck podcast. And it's like, there isn't a second that I have to breathe now. Yeah. And that's why I need to figure out a better plan or just mapping it out better. Like at what time am I posting each thing? Because I'm overwhelmed and I think I'm pretty good at, doing a lot at once. Yeah. So for the people that think it's not that much of a big, if you're trying to grow and you're trying to do it for a living, you need to be on it all the time. And you need to be also commenting, interacting, posting stories, sharing your life, planning content 24/7, or else you're going to, fall
down.
Yeah.
For sure.
So to the people that think it's not a real job, trust me, maybe it's easy because you're doing what you love.
Right.
But it's very tedious. And it's not, I mean, you can't compare it to having to study for this many X years to be a lawyer, but it is a 24/7 on the clock kind of job.
Yeah. Do you manually post?
Yeah. I don't pre-plan anything. I take content.
Like, just for those that don't get that question, there's like platforms you can use where you can schedule in your posts and your time so that it's supposed to like help your life a little bit. Because now, for example, if she has a week of content, she can pre-plan for the week that it'll automatically go out. But if you're manually posting, I believe in manually posting. I think it's better. Yeah. But like that's double the work.
And it's also, you have to like, respond to comments, go live, whatever if you're trying to grow.
Yeah.
But I take the content the same day because in my head, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I'm like, I want to be authentic. So on a Thursday, if I'm pissed off, if I'm in a bad mood, or if I'm going through something or I'm sad or whatever it is, I want my emotion and who I am to show. So I take the content that day.
And then post it that day.
But
that's not something that you could have already planned or kind of had an idea of on Sunday, right?
If I say, okay, I want to do an advice video while doing an get unready with me so people can see what products I'm using when I get unready because someone asked or whatever it is, then I will do that. But then that advice video getting unready might turn into a rant getting unready.
Okay. Yeah.
So like that's kind of how I map it out. But yeah, I think it's more authentic that way. And I think it shows people more so of who I am. Yeah. Even though it is stressful and anxiety provoking, being like, hurry up, you gotta do this, even though you don't have time.
Well, it's also just like, I think what people don't get is like, for example, if you do a get ready with me, if it takes you, let's say, half an hour to get ready on a good day, now you got to film. So it's like that half hour. Now I got to plan. I want to do a get ready with me video. So it's going to plan for like an hour. So
then you have to edit it.
Right. Your whole day shifts. You're not going to get ready with me today and I'm going to post in 3 weeks from now. It doesn't make sense. So like, yeah, there's a lot behind the scenes.
Yeah. And then like what time is good to post with the algorithm that's changing every 5 seconds? What time is a good time to post? Yeah. Okay, well, it has to be at 2 p.m. Well, shit, I'm booked up till 1:30. You have to take that in 5 seconds and quickly post it or something at least. Or you're just going to post it later and you might not do as well as you could have done.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
It is.
Feels like a race.
Like, even I had Ricky on,
Yeah.
So I had him on and like he even spoke about how at the beginning with his like creation journey, he would go like film like 30 reels and try to pop out like 2-3 reels a day just to get it out. And I'm like, he said that to me, I'm like, dude, that's insane. Like, that's a lot of work. And it's the same idea. So I hope everyone listening and watching can see that, like, you're not just, oh, you're a content creator, you make money. Like, there's time and effort. The same way you do your job and you put time and effort into your whatever it is, like, so do content creators and influencers. And at the end of the day, the word influencer is influence. So you're influencing whoever's watching you and what you do, right? What's, like, the biggest, or no, what's your... I don't know if you're even allowed to say this. What's your favorite brand that you got to deal with that you didn't think you would?
I think like I'm just in the part now where, knock on wood, but I think who I'm working with in general over this past quarter and who I'm hoping to work with, like in talks with, are so who I am. Right, and because I've been posting so much of what I use on the daily that it's finally working out for me. So I just think I'm in the zone and I'm finally having brand deals with things that I've truly have been used. Like, it's crazy to me that I'm now getting paid to make content using stuff that I spent my whole life buying. Yeah, cool. Like I am so grateful. I think it's amazing. I mean, it's hard to explain to people what my job is, especially like parents and
they're like,
my grandparents. They're like, what do you do? I'm like, well, I did an ad for cream cheese yesterday and I'm doing one for like this makeup brand today. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, again? It's interesting, but it is like, I don't want to jinx it. So I don't want to say one brand, that's fine, but I think I'm fine. I think what I love and what I'm proud of myself is just the fact that the brands that I'm working with now are brands that I truly have just use on a day-to-day basis.
Yes. Which I think makes it easier because you're actually using them. It's not going out of your way to make the ad. It's like, okay, the skincare, I'm using it anyways, but now I'm getting paid to use it.
But for some reason, it's like pressure. Like, I can post whatever the fuck, whenever, I don't care. Yeah. But I feel so much pressure sending it to the brand because I want to do them so well. For sure. Because I'm like, I respect you so much because the fact that you're even paying me to do something for you for a brand that I will buy even if you're not paying me, like what? So It is like I've kind of what's the word when like you don't really realize where you are in a situation, or you don't feel like you're in your own body,
outer body experience,
kind of with the whole thing. But I'm just happy. I'm very happy. I'm grateful for where I am now.
For sure. And that's the biggest thing, right? You hold gratitude, and like I always say, if you do things with good intention, like good things will come back to you triple fold, right? So like you could see it in what you're doing. Like even just saying like, oh, there's content creators that aren't themselves and like it hurts you. Like that just proves the kind of person you are, you know? So you have this niche, and I could be wrong, but of like dating.
Yeah.
No? Okay. Obviously you're not planning to make that your niche, but did that just kind of come about because of you talking about your life and like being cheated on and like those kind of stories? And then people just ate it up?
Well, like when I was in New York starting to make content every day, I was going through like the dating in New York, which is
what's worse, New York or Toronto?
New York, 100 times over.
Yeah.
But because they just have more money, more, you know, like something to sit on, so it makes them feel their ego is higher, so they think they don't need anyone. But honestly, I just talked about that shit show, and I had so much to say about it. Or like I would go on dates and I'd be like, that story time was hilarious. Let's go on another one. And then I went another one and it would be good. And then people would be like, oh my God. And then they like loved my dating stuff. And then because I went through so much in dating in like the 25 years that I've been around for, I am like, holy shit. So I give my opinion. I give what works. I give what didn't work in my life and all this stuff. And honestly, my whole life for a while revolved around boys. Like I'm always either talking to someone or... Except for right now. This is the first time, like, literally in my life.
Not even a situationship?
No, like, I don't even, like, there's not a single person that I talk to more than for something or like, to be there for them. Right. So, it's crazy to me, but that's just what my life kind of revolved around. And I'm always out and about and flirting, and I'm a big flirt. So... And I'm always the person that people come to for their relationships because they just want, like, I'm very good at putting myself into somebody else's shoes and taking myself out of it. So I just kind of started talking about it and people ate it up. For sure, so then I just kept going with it. And I mean, it's kind of just my life too. Like, I love it. Yeah. So I mix in other things, but I think the majority of my following and why I grew was because of the dating advice. Yeah,
for sure. Well, I mean, obviously, like when you have so much experience in something and like obviously good and bad. Yeah. When you speak, there's validity to it. So it's not just like, I think you should do this. Yeah. It's like, this happened to me. So this is what I learned from it. Take it or leave it.
And I'll be like, please don't do this because this did not work. Yeah.
And you're like real with it. But I even saw, I don't know what podcast it was from. It could have been yours. Someone clipped you and you were like, yeah, I'm toxic. And I was like, okay.
I am because, I mean, I am at certain points in my life when I want to be. Okay. Because at the points that I am toxic, it's fun. Yeah, it's a good time. I don't lead anyone on. Like, I'll literally, if it's gone too deep, I'm like, okay, honestly, like, I'm not into it as much as you and I don't want to lead you on. But like I go out every weekend. The guys that I'm being toxic with, it's because they're trying to play me, and I'm like, I can play you first. Watch this, because I know how to do it. Yeah. So, and I don't know, like I've hated men for a long time because of how much shit they've done to me with cheating on my friends and this and that.
Well, you've also been cheated on. That's sad. Yeah. No one in this fucking world deserves that.
No one deserves
so like that. I'm sorry that happened to you, but it made you a stronger woman.
It made me a stronger person 100%. And it made me be able to give more advice on it and help other people through it too. But I'm such a girl's girl. Yeah. Like, I will never pick a man over a girl or a family or whatever, ever. Yeah. So they always are going to get the back end of it, regardless if they want it or not, but whatever. But I don't know, like, I'm toxic when I want to be and when I don't want a relationship, but I'm a lover when I want to be. I'm just not in that place of my life right now.
Gotcha. Well, it's also like because of where you're at, it'll actually like you're not, like you said, you're not leading people on. So you're not going to just go like fuck around with someone just because it could lead somewhere. If you're actually going to invest your time seriously into something, it's because you genuinely see like a future with that person.
And right? I mean, I used to, like years ago, I used to be the person that would just love the attention and maybe let it go on for a little longer than it should. Yeah. But I think that was just an insecurity of me of wanting that attention and wanting it from numerous people and not wanting to settle down. But that's like, you know, you grow up and you grow out of that. And
sure.
I think that's very normal. And especially like a girl that's very social. But now I'm just like, I don't have the time or the energy.
Yeah.
I would rather
also,
spend
like,
it.
as you get older, you value your energy more,
Yeah.
right? When you're younger, it's fun. I have a roster. Who's this? Who's that?
Yeah.
Like all that shit. Like you're rocking with it. And then you get older, you're like, I need sleep. I need to eat. I got to go to the gym. I got to get my job done.
I don't have time to FaceTime Jim, Joe, and Jacob like every night before I go to bed. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe next month I'll have a roster again. Who knows? But as of right now, I'm out of the toxic, but I could easily give you advice if that's what you're looking for. And I don't think it's bad if someone fucked you over and you're like, listen, I need to make them feel the hurt because they don't even understand it. You can throw in a few toxic things.
Yeah, 100%. You got to protect yourself too,
yes.
right?
And like, give them something to talk about sometimes.
Okay, so do you believe, a lot of people say this, like, oh, I'm not going to find my future like partner in the club, let's say, but they go to the club all the time. Do you believe in that? Like, don't go somewhere where you wouldn't want your future like person to be? Or do you think that like, doesn't matter where you are, if you're bound to cross paths with someone that's going to be your person, like that will happen, doesn't matter where you are?
I think both could be true, but I don't think you're going to find your husband at the club if that's what you're looking for. Like, I think it goes in a sense of if you are trying to find your husband and that activity of going to the club is where you're trying to find it and you're putting the energy into finding someone at the club, you're probably not going to find it.
Right.
Because you go to the club to have fun, get drunk, a lot of the times hook up with people, get flirted with, this and that. That is why people are going to the club. So I don't think you should be looking for it at the club. But if you're bound to cross paths and you cross paths with someone and whatever, great. But it's just not going to be that often that that's happening. I think everybody, like there is someone for everybody out there, but it's like, and I love going to the club. I love going, I don't really club, but I go to the bars a lot. And I'm not going to find myself a man. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to flirt with people. I'm going to have fun with the people that I'm with. I'm going to just like let some tension off and not think about work or who knows, get a funny story out of it that I can share with my following. True. But that's what I'm going for. I'm not going to find a man. If I was going to try to search and find a man, I'd go try different workout classes. Right. I would go because that's where I want my husband to be. Right. If I didn't want to do that, I would go to a cafe and work there just so I could meet new people and like try different cafes every day or every so often. But like you kind of have to be strategic. If you're looking for a significant other, where do you want them to be? Yep. Or where would you hope or what would you want them to be doing? Yeah. And then go there. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah. Do you think men nowadays have become weaker in their approach towards women? For example, when you are out, like I feel like back in the day, guys had more strength to just come up to someone and be like, hey, like, I think you're attractive. Let me buy you a drink. Let me take you out. I feel like now it's more of like this waiting game. I see you, you see me. Do I cut? Do I not cut? Like, you know. Men are scared to even buy a girl a drink.
Yeah. Deadass.
They have plummeted with their confidence. I mean, obviously depends on the place and the age, but I think and the person and like how they were raised, but a lot more. And it is very common now that men are a bit of a pussy in a sense of approaching someone that they're interested in. Yeah. They don't buy drinks. They're scared to say hi because their ego gets in the way and they want to feel like they, you know, if they get shut down, oh God, it's the worst thing in the world and that can't happen. So they're just not going to approach you. Right. They're going to wait for you to come to them. Or they never want to settle down. So they're just, you know, going to make you want them, but then they're never going to give you enough. It's like it's a game to them. Yeah. And that's the way it's going and that's the way the world's kind of going. But there's hope out there. There are some good guys.
Hold hope.
But I mean, yeah, I'm not looking for anyone like that. No, like I would need to be pursued. And a lot of guys now aren't even pursuing.
Right. Yeah, but like pursued with like actual effort. Like
open the door for me, pick me up, like deliver me a coffee in the morning. Yeah. Ask me if I want to go for a walk in the middle of the day when you have time. Yeah. Give me flowers. Yeah. Bring flowers on the first date. Oh my gosh, where did that go?
It's the little. See, but everything you just said is like the little shit. There doesn't need to be don't fly a plane over my house with like just like little things. Like, back in the day, like chivalry, like woman comes out the door, you're going to get her. Yeah. You know, you bring her to the car. Yeah. Like stuff like that has been so lost. But here's my take on the flip side of that. There's also this like empowerment with women.
Of course, that's what I like about it. Yeah.
But there's also this like I've seen stories where like I have guy friends and they'll be like, yeah, I tried to like hold the door for her. And she's like, I don't need you to do that. I can do it myself. And I'm like, okay, so then you can't complain that chivalry is dead when you're also instilling this like fucking fear in these guys' heads now of like, well, should I, shouldn't I? Because he's going to carry that experience to the next person. So I think it's understanding the person you're on a date with and actually what they want and what they expect. And
asking the question. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Ask the question to understand where they are and where they stand and what they want and what they don't like. Ask those questions and not like so you don't like this? Yeah. So that they're going to be like, oh, intimidated or feel weird about the conversation. Ask it and, so like the whole what's your love language question is great to start, that conversation. Also like, are you someone that likes to be more so like the door open and this and chivalry and that kind of stuff? Or are you more like you want to be able to do it yourself and just have someone that's like, ask those questions and be open about it so that they can give you the answer and you'll learn so much more about them. And like it can be both. It can be a girl that like, I love to be able to do everything on my own. Right. I don't need a man.
Same, yeah.
But when I have one, I want them to take care of me. I want them, to treat me as if I can't even lift up a bag that's 2 pounds. Like I want them to treat me like that princess, but at the same time, I can do it.
Right. But that all comes down to communication.
Yes.
Because it's like, if you actually want to pursue someone with effort, you do want to understand what they need and don't need. So instead of you wasting your time assuming, you now know. It's like, okay, she likes this, she doesn't like this. Or she can hold her own if I'm not around, so I can trust that. Yeah. When I'm there, like, this is now my role, right?
And it's like the boundaries. Like, what do you want? What's the boundaries of, like, I know some girls are, like you said, very much so like, I can do it myself. I don't need that. That's a boundary, and that's great. I'm so happy that we're all setting boundaries for ourselves. But we have to communicate that or else people don't know. Yeah. So you can't just like get mad when someone does something, like hold the door open, like, I didn't need that. Yeah. I can do it myself. Okay, well, you didn't say that. So how is someone going to read your mind? And us girls, we do tend to think that the guys are just going to read our minds and know that they have to do A, B, and C, which I mean, like, it's not even our fault. It's their fault. But it is a sense of like communication. But it's also hard to communicate that because a lot of the times now people think it's giving too much too soon and it'll scare someone off. Yeah. When in reality, that's just this idea that we came to and like we think that we have to play hard to get. But if someone liked you, then they would want to hear those things. And if someone doesn't, then perfect. They don't like you, don't waste their time.
Yeah. And it's also like, even from both sides, like if you really like that person, you'll do what you can to make them feel special, like, because you want them to feel like honored that they're in your life. And that gets forgotten too. It's like, well, I tell you I like you and like we're good now, like we're dating. And it's like, okay, but now
are
what?
We?
Yeah. Like, are we? Like, what? It feels like a friendship.
Yeah. And it's like continuously date them in a sense of like put that effort in, like continue pursuing them. We've also lost that. Like there's, and honestly, like the last person I was talking to, I ended it because I'm like, yes, I have a lot going on in my life, and yes, you have a lot going on in your life. You didn't cheat on me, you didn't fuck me over, I didn't do that to you, but at the end of the day, it's not the relationship that I want, in a sense of I'm not mad at you for not coming and supporting me at the events that I'm doing or the podcast and watching all of them. I'm not mad at you for not doing that because I know you have a busy schedule. But the person that I want to end up with and I want to be with, I want them to want to go out of their way and do that. And that's totally okay. You get to a certain age where you're like, no, what does the future look like that I actually envision for myself? What do I want? And you need to stop wasting people's time. And people don't really get that. Like, it was a tough conversation. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you have to be selfish with what you want and what your end goal is. But all these conversations now is like so hard for people because...
Well, people suck at hard conversations, but hard conversations is what builds real relationships.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to pick and choose. You want to be in a real relationship? Life is not going to be easy, especially if you get married. Like, things get even more complicated when you have kids, if you want kids. So it's just like, you have to be able to have those conversations. And if you're having them now on a dating stage and that person can't handle it, that's a real sign for what's to come, you know?
Oh, God, yeah. Do not miss out on the red flags in the dating, like, process. Because even me, like, when I was younger, I would always be like, oh, but, like, they could be so good. Like, if they just did this and this and this. Okay, but they're not doing that. They haven't done that. Yeah. What makes you think that they're going to do that? Find someone that does that then if that's what you want. Yeah. So I think I've grown up in that way, but I think it does come with age and experience.
Yeah. Well, because you've had like so much experience in the dating field, obviously you've I'm going to assume, have built now kind of in your head what you look for ideally and like what you want. Okay, but what is that?
My ideal situation for my future would be someone that has their own life that isn't the same as mine in content creation or podcasting. They have their job, whatever, they've worked towards it. I don't even care what they've done in the past. I don't care how many people they've dated, slept with, whatever that is. But they have their life kind of figured out. They have their own goals. They're growing and they're working on themselves every day. And they have that, but then they don't need to, mesh our lives together, but we're there to support each other. And we're not pulling each other from what we've already built, but we're just being able to live life together in those separate sides and encourage each other, support each other, and have that, base to shoulder to cry on, this and that, but like doesn't need to be involved too much, if that makes sense. But also is just my security. I like trust is a huge thing to me just from being cheated on so many times. I think that it's so stupid when people say that attraction isn't like, you don't need attraction. No, like you do. Like I cannot.
How are you getting in bed with someone you're not attracted to?
And the attraction isn't going to grow over time when they're gaining weight and getting fat and not working out anymore and whatever. Like that's not going to grow. So I need to be attracted to you in the beginning. And then just someone I can laugh with and joke with, and like I'm so silly, goofy, weirdo vibes that like if someone doesn't get that humor, then it's not going to work out. So I want someone that is safe, my safe space, supportive, my security, and that I don't have to ask to support me. They want to. Like they wouldn't miss it for the world. Yeah. Because I would do that for them.
Yeah, for sure. Like you have an event, they know it's something big for you. It's like, okay, how can I fix my schedule so I'm there without you saying, hey, I have an event this day. 12 o'clock, are you coming?
Like, I still haven't heard from you. Like, are you coming? Like, the event's happening. They're like, I'm so busy. Okay, well, I changed my schedule for you, or I would have if this was your thing. Like, I don't understand why you're not here. That I just can't deal with. That's like, that's totally fine. I'm not mad at you for it, but that's not someone that I want.
Yeah, for sure.
As a future partner.
They're not really putting you as a priority at that point. Yeah.
Why is like literally nobody dating anymore?
Yeah, I know.
People are just having situationships.
But no one's dating. Like literally like anyone I talk to is just like, I'm like, oh, how's your dating life? No, but like, it's kind of rough out there. But it's like, okay, so if everyone as a fucking collective is like, it's rough out there, where does it get fixed? Is it just forever? Like I feel like in our parents' generation, it was very much like everyone wanted love and they wanted to express love and show love in whatever way or form that was for them. So it's like, where did that dwindle? Is it like maybe because like everyone's now work driven and the economy's tough, so people are more focused on like making money and like upkeeping themselves? I don't know, but I feel like somewhere this has to reconnect.
But also I think a lot of people are also wanting more than they're even giving. Like me saying this, that I want the support, the this, the that. The reason why I'm not in a relationship right now is because I can't give that.
100%.
I don't have the energy, I don't have the time, and I don't want to give that to somebody else. So that's why I'm not out there dating, trying to have a relationship. But when it comes to that, I better do as I preach, because a lot of people are like, I want the man to take care of me financially. I don't want to work. He needs to be 6'7" and have a six pack and no like problems, no exes. Okay, but what are you bringing to the table? Because if you want this Prince fucking Charming and you have jumped from one relationship to the next and you're toxic and you've cheated and this and that, but you want the best of the best, how? Like you need to understand, like people are like just reaching for like, it's like they're dreaming for people, and it's like, okay, but what are you doing and what are you working on yourself to deserve that and be able to give back to that person to have that in your life?
100%. I feel like the expectation now is so high, and everyone's like, I got my boundaries and I have my standards or whatever, which is good, but it's like you also have to give. So if you're not gonna listen to that person,
if he's paying for everything and you don't want to work and he is cleaning and cooking and doing all that, what are you going to do for him to want to be with you?
100%.
Like if you want to be with him for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, whatever the fuck, what are you bringing to the table? Are you going to give him love? Are you going to give him babies and take care of them? Are you going to go to all their soccer practices so that he can work and do whatever it is? Are you going to bathe them? Are you going to, clean the house? Whatever that may be. If you don't want to do different things, what are you providing? So you have to sit back and almost check yourself a bit if like your
100%.
Priorities are that.
But I feel
high.
like if if you're not realizing that, then that like it's a selfish mindset, but it's very ego driven.
Yeah.
So it's not like, because you're in it now for the reasons of I want to be taken care of, but I really don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
And like how my actions affect you.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. Okay, you get a lot of DMs. What's the craziest DM you've ever gotten?
Honestly, like the craziest thing is just when people put almost too much effort into it. Like some people have emailed me like literally dating resumes, like what they've had, things that they've messed up on, and what they can contribute to me, and why they like me, and like a thesis project.
But that's like a first date almost, like a second date.
I'm like, I answer them because I'm like, the amount of energy that you put into this is diabolical.
Yeah.
Because what? But like, I commend them for taking the time.
Yeah.
But like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's just like, okay. Maybe for some girls, they like that shit.
Who?
I don't fucking know. I'm just saying, maybe. But like for you, it's just not the vibe.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're sending that, but I feel like even if people follow you and hear you talk and like what your vibe is, like you should just know. No one needs a resume, you know?
And I don't even know. I don't even check my DMs. Like I check my comments to see like who's like interacting with me and I want to talk back with my community.
Yeah.
But like I don't even look at my DMs. Like guys are weird though. Like they'll send dick pics for no fucking reason. I'm like unwarranted. No girl wants to even see that if it's not their man.
No, literally.
And then or they're just asking for things and I'm like, you don't even know who I am and you want me to send you a nude or a picture of my foot or whatever the fuck it is. I'm like, in what world did you think that was gonna happen?
But it's just like sign up for OnlyFans. You can get that from other girls.
Diabolical. But literally.
It's actually crazy.
But that's, I mean, and it's like how, like, what if I posted this on my story?
Yeah.
Like the guy that sent me the dick pics.
Would you own it?
Yeah. You're fucked.
Yeah.
And you don't know who I am. You don't know if I'm a safe space.
True.
You don't know if I, like, you see me talk online, but I could be totally different in person. You haven't met me yet.
No,
I don't
100%.
think. I haven't seen much other than that of you. So, but like,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. I ask every guest this question to wrap it up. No, you're good. What's one piece of advice you'd give your 16-year-old self?
Stop caring what people think.
Okay.
You are doing well. Work on yourself and trust the process. Mm-hmm. This is a lot of advice. The last one.
No, you're good.
Be present. Because I tried to rush my life to grow up and, get to a point that I'm successful. Yeah. And I've rushed it so much that I didn't live in the moment and be where my feet were at the time. Yeah. That like times that I look back to and I'm like, oh my God, that was so cool that I did that. Yeah. That I wasn't even present in the moment. Yeah. So I think the biggest thing would be present and treat people the way that you want to be treated, because that's what comes with growth and stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I agree with that 100%. Yeah. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. It went by literally
I know,
so
it literally
fast.
flew. I was like I don't even know. 1:10 already. Yeah. I was like, okay.
Well, we killed it.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Give her a follow on Tall Blonde. She has some like sick guests on and really, really cool content. Very different from what I do. It's more like, what did you say? Like banter, gossip. Yeah. Like grab a glass of wine and listen to it. That's the vibes. Yeah. But like, subscribe, follow, share, and one more time, thank you.
No, thank you for having me. This was so much fun. I love doing other people's podcasts because I don't have to fucking think.
No, you're just like, whatever.
You have to, like, it's the pressure's on you now.
That's what people don't realize. I'm going to add that like a lot of people think the guest has the pressure. It's not. It's actually the host, because you need to navigate the conversation based off what they're saying. So if I don't care what she's saying or if I'm not listening, like this can literally go nowhere in 10 minutes.
Or it can not even make sense, because if you're not fully listening, then it's like, you could have something come up into your head, be like, oh, fuck, I need to ask her that. Yeah. But then she said something so great and it went in a different direction, but then you asked the question that you were thinking of and she's like, wait, did you not listen to anything that I said? Yeah. So it's an art.
It is.
In art form.
I agree with that. Yeah. So anyways, thank you. And guys, catch you on the next episode.